Who's driving this bidding process issue?
The law is driving the bidding process. The law requires that this competitive bidding process is in place.
Who drove the law initially? What group? Was there a group of people, a part of the industry? Or was there an issue, a problem? Anytime you have a change, do something like this, something or somebody or some group is driving it. Who was driving it?
Yeah, I'm not sure the group. I sort of doubt it was the industry.
I kind of doubt that too. This is a awfully large group here this morning. We had a meeting the other day on some stimulus package stuff, and we didn't have this many people in here for that. I think that's probably a little overriding issue over this, but this is something that obviously has got some folks stirred up. So,
well, I can tell you this, sir. I don't know what particular group drove this or where this came about in terms of negotiations over the managed Medicare Modernization Act. I mean, I wasn't involved in those discussions. I'm a career person, as I think you know. The thing that I will say is there has been interest from CMS and formerly HCFA before that, the GAO, the OIG, and others on trying to get better pricing in this area of the program. There's been a lot of work done that shows that the pricing is excessive, and that there may be a better way to get prices through the competitive bidding program. In earlier legislation, that is prior to the Medicare Modernization Act, there was a demonstration that did test this in two areas, Polk County and San Antonio, Polk County, Florida, San Antonio, Texas. So there was work done on this prior to the national program, and I think the interest was in better pricing, because better pricing results in not just lower expenditures for Medicare. It results in lower expenditures for beneficiaries. Beneficiaries pay 20% coinsurance. So under my example from Pittsburgh, a 32% savings on a standard power wheelchair equates to about $279 in savings. That's important for beneficiaries, particularly in times now where beneficiaries have been hit pretty hard in the pocketbook in terms of their 401ks and in terms of their retirement plans. And so I think there has been interest from the beneficiary area and the consumer groups, certainly interest from those around town here, like the GAO, Office of Inspector General, and CMS, that are interested in having fair prices. I know that's a long-winded answer, but I think that's
normal for Washington. I'm just curious. I know that you made a comment a minute ago about the service portion of this. To me, it would seem that service is a big part of the should be big part of the bid here. How do you factor that in? I think I've got some information, but I want to be sure that it is a part of your thought process when you accept a bid.
It absolutely is. And when you look at Medicare's quality standards, and of course all suppliers, in order to compete under competitive bidding, must meet the quality standards. And indeed, later this year, every supplier in the country will have to meet the quality standards and be accredited. They talk about not just the equipment, but delivering the equipment, setting up the equipment, educating the beneficiary on its use, and being there to provide customer service. So that it's very much factored in and part of the covered benefit. And the issue is, I think, what's the price for that and the equipment?
During your answer to one of the chairman's questions, you made a couple comments with regards to the grandfathering in some of the providers. How long can you extend that to those folks to continue to be grandfathered in the program, or are they grandfathered forever, or just for a few months, a year or two, or where do we go with that?
Well, if the supplier and if the patient agree to maintain their relationship for a service like oxygen, then they can continue that relationship for as long as the patient and the supplier want it. For new patients, that grandfathering does not come into play. It's just for existing patients. So it would extend for, forever, although most patients are on oxygen for, I think the average is about 10 months under Medicare.
Okay. Obviously, there's some concerns about what we're doing here. You're in the middle of this. What would you see, or what would you like to see, or what would you prefer done to alleviate the problem, or get to the goal of containing costs, yet allowing competition or allowing great service? How would you, if you were in our position here, to try and find a balance here, what would you suggest be done?
Yeah, difficult to answer that. Difficult to answer that question. I'm looking at right now. I work within the sort of the boundaries of existing law and think about proposals for changes to the extent that there are changes being considered. I think that there are certain elements in Medicare that are pretty important. You want to maintain quality and access, and you want to pay well. When you don't pay accurately, you incentivize fraud, you incentivize bad behavior, and you bring in bad actors. And so I think we need to try to get to a way to pay accurately for these services, and we need a set of quality standards that we have today that ensures that people coming into the program and acting as suppliers are those that are prepared and able to provide quality services and deliver quality items. I was very pleased to see that part of AA Home Care's initiative on fraud was to try to boost the quality standards. We have quality standards for this area of the program. Their thought was to make them more rigid. So we're very interested in hearing those ideas, because I think when you elevate quality in these kinds of programs, provide accurate pricing, you get pretty good results.
Okay.